Mike Huckabee is not the only big-name Republican to opt out of the 2012 presidential race. As we mentioned today, billionaire Donald Trump revealed that he has chosen not to challenge the anointed one either.
I've decided that we are going to continue onward with Celebrity Apprentice. We're going to continue making lots and lots of money for charity. I will not be running for president as much as I'd like to. And I want to thank everybody very much. Thank you very much.
Now, even with Huckabee and Trump out, the GOP field is growing. Newt Gingrich, Ron Paul, Herman Cain all officially launched their campaigns in recent days. And a lot of attention is being paid to Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels, who is said to be mulling a run. Now, according to CBS News, that if Daniels is in, it's likely he would have the support of New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, and former Florida Governor Jeb Bush. And here to help all of us break down the latest 2012 news is the one and only Dick Morris. He, along with his wife, Eileen McGann, the co-author of the New York Times bestseller, Revolt, and his website, dickmorris.com. How are you?
Good.
You're doing videos now on your website.
Starting tomorrow, I do a video each day on each of the Republican candidates.
That's great.
And I have 7 of them in a row. I was going to do 9, but somehow it shrunk to 7.
All right, well, first of all, we got some people entering, some people exiting. Yeah. I guess the big news is Trump and Huckabee out. Yeah. What are your thoughts? How does this impact the field?
To start with, my polling showed Romney at 22, Huckabee at 20, Trump at 15, and Gingrich at 11. So the second and the third candidates pulling out is a big deal. Right. And obviously the big winner is Romney. I think that he...
Why do you think Romney?
Well, first of all, my polling shows that about a third of Huckabee's votes go to Romney, basically because they're the 2 best known of the field. And that most of Trump's votes go to Romney because he's a businessman and the economy and all that stuff.
Let me stop you. Why would Huckabee's votes go to Romney when they were at each other? You know,
well, it's surprising, but the
2008.
The poll shows that. Yeah. I think they're the 2 candidates who've been around the track, and as a result, they have a certain amount of support from Republicans who are used to them and know them.
Is that name recognition?
It's more than name recognition. It's kind of a sense of legitimacy, a sense of having paid their dues. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. I think that the crucial moment for Gingrich is coming up, I think, on June 7th, when the first real Republican debate takes place. And Gingrich, I think, can knock it out of the park, and that could be a tremendous asset to his candidacy. Right. I think Daniels could be a very strong contender, but I think the person that really could shake up this field right now is Michelle Bachmann, because ultimately the evangelicals and the Tea Party people are 70% the same people. And with Huckabee out of the race and Palin perhaps not running, Bachmann really has the capacity to roll up a lot of that vote.
Can she get the independents?
Oh, I think she can. I think that her base, it's not a left-right base, it's an up-down thing. She's the grassroots, small businessman, individual person, whereas the more establishment people, Chamber of Commerce types might be for Daniels. Either one would be very good. But you can't count Newt out as long as there are debates, because he could just absolutely blow it apart at a debate.
I've never seen a field this wide open, and it's interesting how the media spins this as some type of weakness. I don't see it that way at all, because if you look at 90% of the issues between becoming energy independent, lowering taxes, lessening the bureaucracy, dealing with the debt deficit entitlements, I think the Republicans are offering a very distinct vision for the country versus what President Obama has offered and would continue to offer.
I also believe that any of these 4 candidates could defeat Obama.
I agree with you.
I think that Romney can. He looks presidential. He acts presidential. I think the health care thing will hurt him, but I think that he's seen as the guy who can create jobs and help the economy. I think Daniels' record in Indiana is extraordinary. He's done everything right, and I think that there's a real sense of substance there.
You know what the interesting thing about Daniels?
In the debate is awesome, and I think Bachmann is the charismatic candidate now, and she could just blow the race out.
You think Sarah Palin gets it?
No, I think that with Bachmann likely in, I don't think there's running room for Sarah.
All right, we talked a lot about how the media died in 2008, Dick. And, you know, I've been predicting that all the Republican candidates are going to face a level of scrutiny that then Senator Barack Obama never faced in 2008. And kind of we tried to fill that void here on this program. Let me give you an example. This is David Gregory, Meet the Press, going after Newt Gingrich this weekend. Let's watch this.
You gave a speech in Georgia with language a lot of people think could be coded, racially tinged language, calling the president, the first black president, a food stamp president.
Oh,
what did you mean?
David,
what was the point?
That's bizarre. This kind of automatic reference to racism, this is the President of the United States. The President of the United States has to be held accountable. Now, the idea that, and what I said is factually true, 47 million Americans are on food stamps. 1 out of every 6 Americans is on food stamps. And to hide behind the charge of racism, I have never said anything about President Obama which is racist.
Coded, racially tinged language. There are 47 million Americans on food stamps.
And there were 33 million.
Yeah.
Obama's expanded it by 14 million. So to call him the food stamp president makes great sense. Gingrich told me once that he saw the emblem of the Republican Party being the paycheck and the emblem of the Democratic Party being the food stamp book. And I think that makes a whole lot of sense.
What about, he got into a little bit of a controversy, and I spoke to him on radio earlier today as it relates to his comment about right-wing social engineering. He explained it away saying, you know, look, I think they should have a conversation on the issues of Medicare rather than put themselves in a position to be demagogue. And he was asked whether he supports a mandate. He said, no, the states can decide. Did he get himself into trouble with these two issues, or will it pass?
Oh, I don't think so. I agree with him on both of them. I think I wrote in Revolt with Eileen, my wife, that Medicare could be the death of the Republican Party. Right. I said, how many tombstones do you need? You have Hillary care, you have Gingrich of the government shutdown, you have Pelosi this year, and now we may have another tombstone there. I think we're probably going to lose that House race up in Buffalo over this issue. And why the Republican Party wants to vote for a cut in Medicare in 10 years.
Yeah.
And wants to lose elections for the next 10 years over that is crazy.
But it's important. If we really care about the deficit, they got to deal with this.
In the next 10 years, you don't have to deal with it now. Medicare did not cause this deficit. Medicare went up by 16% in 2 years, and defense spending by 11%, and Social Security by 12%. Right. Medicaid went up by 54%. Food stamps by 60%. That's where the expansion has come. And I think Gingrich is absolutely right in what he said.
All right. Dick Morris. And with Donald Trump and Mike Huckabee out of the running, the GOP field is starting to take shape, but there are still some wild cards out there. We're going to have much more analysis. And Bob Beckel is in the House, and he and I are going at it tonight. Straight ahead. And welcome back to Hannity. So with Donald Trump and Mike Huckabee not throwing their hats into the ring, what does it mean for the other GOP hopefuls? We asked 2 of our Fox News contributors, Democratic pollster Doug Schoen, New York Daily News columnist, the one and only Andrea Tantaros. Guys, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. What does this mean from your perspective? You like Trump.
I do.
So you're not happy with it?
I think he has the guts to say the things that the other GOP hopefuls haven't said. I hope they follow suit. He talks about China, he talks about OPEC, and he certainly is entertaining. And it's pretty funny how he dumped the mainstream media. Used, abused them, and then dumped them like a bad date. Go Trump.
Well, I hope there's a lesson learned by all the candidates. Fight. Go out there.
Yeah.
And I think he did make one mistake, and that was using the F word in Vegas. Probably not a pro. He's got to act presidential.
In New York, sometimes it happens. It's just
in New York, sometimes, and every 5 seconds.
The birther issue was a stone-cold loser. He was exposed. He dropped in the polls. He's out. It shows the disarray in the Republican field.
No, it doesn't.
Now Newt is fighting with Paul Ryan. We have complete chaos on the Republican side. And frankly, as a Democrat who's not happy with Obama, it's worse on the Republican side.
Chaos. There was Dem-on-Dem violence in 2007 and 2008. There always is disarray.
We got a Democratic president out of it.
There always is disarray.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Remember Bill Clinton said, you know, they played the race card on me. They planned on this from the beginning. Remember, it was getting pretty contentious. Here's the problem, though, with your argument.
Okay.
How does President Obama overcome 9% unemployment? How does he overcome inflation now kicking in, record debt and deficits, broken promise after broken promise? I don't see how he overcomes it.
Two things. First, the economy slowly is picking up, but more seriously and substantively, he's going to run a tough negative campaign, Sean, and what he's going to do is say he got America out of a hole that the Republicans and George Bush put us into.
So it's he's going to go run against Bush again?
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to run against every Republican. And given the unpopularity of things like Paul Ryan's plan, you're going to hear about evisceration of Medicare and Medicaid. You're going to see scare tactics. It's going to be a campaign, I suspect, in the
I think Americans want Paul Ryan's plan. That's my take. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, look at his popularity on issues like Obamacare, the stimulus. Very, very unpopular. Just today, the Wall Street Journal came out and said a worker is 1/3 less likely to find employment than they were in 2006. That's when we were in the throes of the recession. That is abysmal news for this president.
Did you read 84% of college grads are like moving back with their parents? That's
even,
that's
and they're Obama's base.
The problem is that the Republicans have no narrative. They have no argument. They should listen to you about a coherent economic plan for America.
If
they're fighting about individual mandates.
Wait a minute, they're all, in fairness, because I've interviewed them all. They're all talking about cutting taxes. Right. They're all talking about ending the bureaucracy. They're all talking about drilling. They're talking about a stronger national security policy. Smaller government, constitutional government, and getting rid of this debt.
And none of them have a plan to balance the budget in a reasonable and responsible way. That's irresponsible.
But, Doug, Democrats won't even come to the table to even talk about balancing the budget.
There's a plan called the Bowles-Simpson plan with Bill Clinton's chief of staff put forward. 11 out of 18 votes. Barack Obama should be for it. Andrea's a Democrat.
It was his debt committee. All right, let me ask. I didn't like David Gregory's question when he was asking Newt Gingrich about the coded, racially tinged language when Newt said, you know, the bottom line is there's 47 million Americans on food stamps under President Obama's watch. Interpret that for me.
I will.
Because I don't get it.
David Gregory is just plain wrong. I think Newt has been all over the map politically. He's for the individual mandate. He's against the Ryan plan. He's for it. He's against it. But Newt's no racist. He's an honest, decent politician who, by his own acknowledgement, lacks discipline. The question was out of bounds and it was wrong.
Yeah, and they played a lot of gotcha that they never played with President Obama.
Yeah, look, Newt walked out into the GOP town square, poured gasoline on himself, set himself on fire going after Paul Ryan. He's done. Forget it. Krauthammer said it, and I agree. But he is no racist, absolutely. And if this is the best that the mainstream media can do, because they don't have anything to defend their hopeful Barack Obama, so they're gonna ride shotgun with anything he says. But if the best they can do, Sean, is playing the race card, well, I feel a lot better than this GOP field than most people are saying.
If Doug is right, and the president's going to go negative and run against George Bush again, and he can't run on his record because he doesn't really have anything, especially on the economy, that he can run on. The question is, you know, as I'm watching all these candidates, this is going to be a comparative election. Is there any one or two people you're most afraid of that you would think would win for the Republicans?
I am worried about the new faces. Michelle Bachmann, as Dick Morris suggested before, Tim Pawlenty, Mitch Daniels, John Huntsman. A fresh face who, as you suggested, talks straight and is honest with the American people, has the capacity to shake this race up fundamentally.
I think the front runner has yet to emerge. I do think that Santorum benefits. He's the dark horse. I think he benefits. I think he won that Fox debate in South Carolina. I think he benefits in Iowa from the Huckabee voters. But I agree. I think Bachmann, Palin, if they decide to get in, they also siphon votes.
New ball game.
New ball.
This is way open. Too early to call.
All right. Hey, guys, good to see you both. Appreciate it. Thank you. And let not your heart be troubled. Great. Oh, Beckel's here. And that's it. He started on me earlier. Bring it, Mr. Beckel. That's next.